Sweet, sweet, sweet. Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Google. Yeah? What is he talking about? Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the TypeScript Tea Time. Now I see. Yeah. I'm your host, Mirko, and welcome you. I see Kusto is already in the house. Yeah. Welcome. Hope you had a great week. Glad to see you again. I heard last week was a bit rough. I hope that settled down and you have a nicer week. So yeah, on that occasion, let me know how you feel, what are your wins of the week, and so on. Yeah, as you can see, I kind of have OBS here on the left side. That's because I'm kind of on the road. That's also why we don't have a camera today. And everything is kind of, more complicated. In particular, down here, you might see that the kilobits per second are decreasing and increasing heavily. So yeah, everything is on one screen. I also don't really have a good mic, but at least I got some mic, which is much better than the microphone in my laptop. Yeah, streaming from the road. That's also why we are today. I don't know. We make 1 hour or 1.5 hours, and then and it's okay. I think next week the same, but as of in 2 weeks again, we kind of have the regular stream. I'm not sure. I suppose I am allowed to show this screen as long as I don't show the stream at the same time, because then we get kind of echoing. Ready to rumble now. Oh, where are you traveling? I'm visiting my parents currently. So yeah, there are a lot of it's idyllic and nature heavy, but man, there are so many insects, and particular because the weather is kind of, it's not hot, but like you can touch the air. That's what I always say, because it's so damp. I think that's the right word. Humid. And the insects, of course, like that. And when I step outside with my white t-shirt, it all of a sudden became black. Not so good. Yeah, ready to rumble. Sweet. Because rumble we do. On that note, Kustu, I don't think you have, maybe you've watched the recording from last week, though, except the 40 minutes that I wasted. Today the mic is on. I did a double check, and I see that you can answer. So that's good. Yeah, so like 2 weeks ago we did deploy to AWS everything. And that worked. Man, it did work. The unfortunate part is it cost me €4 per day, or slightly more, like €2 for DynamoDB and €2 for the connection, for always connecting from the application to DynamoDB, like MongoDB. But if you do that for 30 days, you have a bit of €120 each month for basically something that gets used for 1.5 hours. Nevertheless, I did save all your data, and I can just look here. Yeah, I did save all your data by using what it's called, I think MongoDump. It's the MongoDB tool, which also works with DocumentDB. It's slightly more complicated than regular usage, because you have to kind of log into the correct VPN in a sense. But nevertheless, it did work. And that's why kind of here we have the production now running, because that's what I ran, yarn start production, which runs in a separate database inside of our local database, So as long as I don't remove the Docker container completely, everything's fine. So we have production running. Let's look at what we did what we reached last week. I do have to do some interesting stuff now. Do I? Let me see. So we can start TWars right here. And we kind of get displayed this empty little forest. I can actually do this as a screen overlay. There we go. It's a screen overlay now. If you... Can I make this smaller? No, I cannot. Okay. OBS doesn't like it to be too small. So this is a screen overlay. And now if we do an ambush, it gets actually rendered on top of this overlay. So Kusto, you are an administrator. So if you would like to do an exclamation mark ambush in the chat, that would be great. In the meantime, I can try to go to the chat as well, and we can try to fight the monster. It doesn't work. Last time it did work. Did I forget anything? I'm listening to the wrong port. I am listening to port 8080. Sorry. Yeah, I am listening to the wrong application. Sorry. We have the application running kind of twice. One is on port. Okay, we have to look into package prod start, which is here. Package prod start, which is running on 3140, and we would need to connect our front end to this port. So this one we messed up, but that's fine. We can still instead, I think I can just, yeah, let's maybe connect to the dev server instead. That makes things slightly easier. That didn't work. /server yarn dev. So that's now, I'm now starting the server, which is running on port 3000, as is written here, localhost 3000. And if we do, so we kind of have already an ambush running in production, and we did actually die. But we can now, could you do an ambush again? Now we kind of start two ambushes at the same time. One is in our development server, which is running, and also one in our production server. And the screen overlay gets rendered on top of, there we go. There we go. This is our fiend. And we can now join with exclamation mark join. And we will appear there. That's my character now. As well as your character coming in there. And now we can start attacking. Exclamation mark attack in the chat. The fiend only has like 21 HP. So if we do exclamation mark attack 37, I don't know what that is supposed to mean, but we did make a pretty good hit with an 18. We are fighting a Bullywug, by the way, which is not reflected, but nevertheless. And it's dead. That's it. Yep. We also render we still render the event messages that of our battle log. We still render it on the screen just for debugging, and because we forgot about it. But that's where we are. I did have kind of prepared, oops, sorry about that. This at the very beginning, our little design. So we kind of have the overlay. You cannot see it. So let's move the overlay again away. So I am inside of GIMP, and I really crappily copied together this stuff. So what we see is pretty much what we did see in our application now. We see that there is an enemy. It has a very, very large, big health bar, which then gets reduced when one of the players, which are on the left side here, attacks. In this case, we also show kind of the damage that's displayed. I think that's where I want to continue. Then one little animation that I would like to add is that the players as well as the monster jump to the monster to basically say, hey, I attack you. Having an animation is slightly more complicated, so I suppose that's for another time. Did we actually also... Yeah, we were also victory in production. So we again got 100 XP. Congratulations. So that's... Yeah, we are kind of in the phase that we have this, right? This is now in another server, which gets rendered differently because everything is on client side. We actually have different characters, and they have different positions because it gets randomized. What does not get randomized is the amount of damage we do, how much HP we have, which monster we attack, and the usernames, of course. So every data aspect is actually deterministic because it comes from the backend. Just the rendering depends on the client because some stuff is randomized currently. We could do something that is, I think, fairly common in games in particular, which is seeding, which is randomization, but given the same seed, it always produces the same randomized results. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think Phaser can do that. But I think we're fine for now. We don't need to take the extra step. Is that clear where we are? Because if so, I would like to continue. And we kind of have three options, because there's one cool thing. We kind of have two options. My screen is rendered, right? I did this. Yeah, I did hide the. I did hide the overlay, so you can see my screen. We can close this. So we have kind of a few options. We can add damage numbers. We can add animation or attack animation. And one more cool thing, I don't know whether you have heard of it, but there's this cool thing, GitHub Copilot, which is an AI pair programmer. So Microsoft, who own GitHub, did develop this. I think with the help of OpenAI, they have the I think premium rights in particular for one of the models for a few years, or maybe a year, at least a few months. And they used it to develop GitHub Copilot, which does cool stuff. For example, can we replay this? Yeah. So you essentially you give the function signature. You also give some kind of a description, like natural language description, because it does run on top of the natural language that you write. And then it says, okay, maybe this is the code that you need. And in fact, this is not code so it's, of course, they have trained on top of GitHub public repositories, but it's actually code that is getting created from the AI, which in particular means sometimes it's just crap and wrong. So we still have to think about where that's correct or not. But it's still pretty amazing, in particular when it works. And so first of all, have you heard of GitHub Copilot? And the cool thing is, I think it's yesterday. Yesterday I was allowed to the test program. Yay! Which means I actually do have access. And we can play with GitHub Copilot. If you have any questions, maybe you also have access, that would be amazing. But we can actually do this, like, for example, get prime numbers, like less than n. And then we say, okay, we give it a number. And maybe it's already clever enough. Not yet. So I still have to switch to the... No, but that's amazing. It is kind of scary. So returns the all prime numbers less than the less or equal to the given number n as an array. So we can also say, okay, I want to return an array of a number. Then save it. And if I do, there we go. That's his algorithm. Copilot's, or her, maybe she says she. That's her algorithm for finding prime numbers. And I mean, it's pretty terrible if you look at it, because it just iterates over everything. It iterates over all numbers and tries to divide. And if it's let me see. Yeah, the question. So we have to check whether this is actually a right implementation. I think last time, so I tried this like 30 minutes ago because I noticed my email invite like 30 minutes ago. And it did give me a different algorithm. I think let's play with it slightly. So we can open Copilot and it creates us multiple numbers. Here, this for example is a different algorithm where it takes it does something with a square root to optimize. And here's another one. And here's another one. And it does create, so partially I think they are coming from GitHub repositories, but partially I think they are really combined code from different GitHub repositories. I do not know whether this is actually correct. So whenever n is divisible by I, it pushes I into the prime numbers. Is that correct? No, we have to do something with I. We have to check whether I think this is wrong code, right? It just checks whether I is a divisor of n, but not whether I is a prime number. So this code is actually wrong. Can I get something different maybe? Copilot. Or maybe all prime numbers less or equal to the given number n. So this code is wrong, right? It just returns the divisors of n, but not the prime numbers. So in this case, it didn't work. Maybe do you have have a nice function that you want to check. That would be amazing. Then we can fiddle around with that. Other than that, let's start with damage numbers. Let's start with some damage numbers. So we are somewhere in the main scene, I think. Well, are we still in the title scene and we never switched? Yeah, we did. Damage numbers. I think we do already say monster received damage. So here, hey, Mrs. Grace, how are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome back in. How was your week? Any wins of the week? Let's... Good, and you? I'm doing good as well. We are kind of doing a more, let's say, improvised stream today. Not in the sense of content, but in the sense of me, because I am not at my regular work desk. So in particular, I only have one screen, so I always have to switch here, which is, well, it works, I guess. But yeah, doing good. We will have this set up next week as well. So currently we want to add damage numbers. So our project looks kind of similar to this already. We do not have the animation that the character jumps. So on the left-hand side, we see the adventurers here, and on the right-hand side, we see the evil overlord monster. This is the health bar of the monster, and we already have that and working. What we do not have is that the adventurers actually jump forward, jump like to the front and attack the monster. We also don't have the monster attacking the adventurers, and we do not have damage numbers on either one. I think I do have this just... No, that's just me having it crappily copied out. So this is kind of our design. And from there on, we pretty much have a good chunk of this. And now I want to add basically this number. So let's jump in. Next back appointment, 2 days after my birthday. Lose of the week. Is that a lose? Looks some great enhancement for us today. Is that really I mean, it would be worse if it's in front of you, like right before your birthday, right? But because you cannot celebrate your birthday due to that, because it's too late. It should have been before, and then you can celebrate. Actually, I don't know. Tell me. So we are here in the front end code, TWAS. We do have our socket IO client here, which listens to any append log messages. From there, we basically get all the battle logs from the backend. We already handle, if we get an ambush, then we add the monster and make it a okay-ish size, at least for this one monster. We do add its health bar. We also handle the joint event, which means we add an adventurer, and we handle the monster received damage event, which means we set the health bar's health slightly down by exactly we set it exactly to the HP left of the monster. What we can do now right here, thank you, Copilot, that's not what I wanted. That's annoying. They now block my hotkey for jumping into a new line. Okay, we've got this. So from here, we basically want to say this dot add some text which is the damage. And we do want to add the text, which says, let's say, what do we have here? Can we phaser VS Code? Can we get some autocompletion? So it needs an X coordinate, which is probably the monster's position. So we can do this dot monster, I guess. Do we not have the monster? No, we don't. We do not have the monster ready. So what just happened? We can take these two coordinates, which is exactly the monster's position. We probably want to have it slightly above the monster, and so Phaser works like usual computer graphics, which means they start in the top left corner and X kind of goes in this direction. So in my case, this is like 1920 here, the top right, but Y direction goes down instead of up, which is weird for most people, except for computer graphic guys. So if we want to have something higher up than 600, we have to reduce the number. So 600, for example, or 580. Let me look at the chat for a second. Yeah, but I'm afraid of alcohol and vaccine, or hangover and vaccine. Yeah, that's true. They do remind you of not drinking too much alcohol. Indeed. So now we can add the text, which is monster received damage dot the damage, and this must be a string. And is that it already? But we only want to display the text for a few seconds, I suppose, right? In the beginning, at least. So if we have this, we can probably do something like const text equals this guy, or damage text, damage count, damage display. How do you call these numbers? Damage number, damage, I don't know, damage text maybe. If you have a better name, please tell me. So we can probably do something like this dot time, or events dot time. Okay. Hit numbers. I think you're right. Hit numbers or hint counters, something like that. Hit number, it's just one in this case. Which should then, how do we do timed events in Phaser again? Phaser lab. Let's look at that. And then we do timed event. Input key events, timer event. This sounds good. Okay. After 1 second or something, it does something here. Now we can look at that. And it says this.time.delayed call. Okay. This.time.delayed call. Let's say for, I don't know, 1 second, so that we actually can see something. And then we need a callback function. So let's write that. Hit number dot destroy, I suppose. Thank you. I'm not sure where the autocompletion came from now. Was it just? I'm now confused what actually comes from GitHub Pilot and which part comes from just regular VS Code usage. So one question that comes up here is, thank you. Okay, this one still works. Great. One question that you might have is, why do we not use set timeout? Because set timeout works weird in Phaser. If you do set timeout, as soon as you switch to a different window, the time doesn't continue with set timeout. Which means, for example, if you start like every 10 milliseconds, you do some beep, 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 and you go into the background. So you switch to a different task. Then it won't do beep for the time being. But if you switch back, it will kind of simulate all the time that passed in the meantime. And all of a sudden you have like, if you were away for 10 minutes from that tab, you will have the combined beep of 10 minutes and every 10 seconds a beep, which is terrible, at least on the sound level. And on the display level, I don't think it's nice either. I'm not sure whether this delayed call will actually do something different, but it definitely is not worse. At least I hope. That's why I don't use set timeout here. So let's try that one. And then it destroys itself, and I think that's pretty much it, right? Maybe we can do something similar now for the players, which shouldn't be too hard. Basically, we do adventurer received damage, which is a damage received event. And inside of our data, or let's say events, inside of our events, we find an event with type, or we look whether there exists an event of type damage received, hoping that basically this gets called one by one actually, and not with an array. And we say it is not a monster, which means it's automatically an adventurer. So if that happens, if this happens, then thank you. Thank you, GitHub Actions. That's actually what I want. Seriously? Did you guys see that just now? It actually didn't even update the health bar. How did it know that it shouldn't update the health bar? Seriously? So, Maze is great. I'm not sure whether you saw that part. I was allowed to join the GitHub Copilot program, test program, like 14 days ago. I think they released it, 29th of June, which is, yeah, exactly 14 days ago, 15. And GitHub Copilot is basically an AI-powered pair programmer. It gives you suggestions, but not only like IntelliSense suggestions, but really more. For example, here you describe in natural language, because it uses the natural language to understand what you want to describe, and it also uses, or you also write the function signature, in particular the function name and parameters, and then it tells you, oh, maybe you mean this, and then you can say, okay, yeah, or maybe that's not it. You can also get more suggestions. In our case, it just it just guessed 100% correctly, which is so weird. It is slightly off because the position is still wrong, but there's no chance it actually understands that we have to find the right position for the player. You heard of it? Sweet. Yeah, I'm now that I'm actually using it, I was like, is it really that good? Is it really that good? They make them say replaceable in jobs. I doubt that it will be replace actually developers with time, but I don't know. It is definitely something very, very, very interesting. But yeah, lots of people say developers make themselves undeployed, which is actually a good thing if you think about it, at least from my perspective, because it's the same topic of whether you want automation or not. I mean, software developers may very rapidly push people out of their jobs by developing, for example, cashiers or cash machines that are that you can do yourself, so you don't need cashiers anymore, and so on, or automated cleaning utensils, like automated vacuums. And in a sense, it makes people undeployed, but on the other hand, it does free resources for jobs that actually need human intervention, which is developing businesses and doing philosophy and driving ethics and so on, and people just spending more time with their families and stuff. Yep. So in our case, it did help us. We still need to find the correct player. I think on this event, we do have a target, which is the player, and we can try to find out the player. So how do we handle joint events? We add an adventurer, and we set it to a random position. And it also don't have a name. Okay. So there's one quick solution, which is overriding TypeScript. And there's one more object-oriented solution. Which one do you want to see? Object-oriented meaning basically we create a new class which represents an adventurer. And it handles everything for us, similar to what we did with the health bar here. It handles all the logic for the health and the maximum health, but it also has like rendering logic in this case. I mean, everything here is only rendering logic in a sense, because the logic is actually on the back end. But to a degree, there's also logic that enables our nice rendering, like reducing the percentage inside of the health bar and so on. Yeah, so which one do you want to see? Object-oriented or writers? In that case, we add a new class. And let me see where I did put the health bar up here. Okay. So inside of components, we add adventurer. Adventurer.ts, and I do have something like Phaser sprite, BAMS, a snippet, custom snippet. So it does extend this Phaser object, Phaser object.sprite. I think in this case we can actually currently take image, which is the unanimated version of a sprite. It receives the scene where we added it, where we want to add the object to, the position, which we actually we don't need them, I think, and a texture, which we also don't need currently. So all we do need a texture somehow, because we we have to put it somewhere here. Let's see. So we can do 0, 0 here, I think. So all we need to do is essentially add this guy. Yeah, and this line makes it actually visible inside of the screen. If we only create the object, we only allocate the memory and logic, but to make it visible, it needs to be added to a scene inside of Phaser. So we do have this here. So we add an image with texture adventurers. Okay, then we can use that one, and we don't need you. We set a random position, and now instead of this is called. So you see that basically we create this image here, and it returns unsafe main call this dot scene dot. Thank you. It does return a game object image, and then we do set operations here, which, in a sense, if you follow what's it called, command query separation or segregation. There are two versions of that. One is just if you have a function that does something, that sets or manipulates something, has any side effects, make it void. And if you have a get function, so a setter in a sense, and if you have a function that only returns something, a get function, a query, then separate these two. Fluid interfaces do it slightly different. If you have a get function, you still just return the value, and then that's it. But if you have set functions, you instead return this, which enables you to chain the commands. If you have ever used chai, you see that a lot, because it's basically you do something like expect result to be equal to expected. Thank you. And all of these are basically functions that, well, I think you do it like this or something. And most of them are actually functions that return this, which enables you to chain them like this. All of this is called fluent interfaces. Bum, bum. On that side not. So now we can, instead of having the fluent interface, because it's actually working on this, so we can just this dot. And here we have to take the scene, scale, width, and then some position, which is, so this is essentially half the screen and then slightly to the left. So kind of like here. And height meaning from the position 500. So the screen size is actually fixed to, because I'm only running this on my local machine, it's actually fixed to 1440 to 180. So 500 is pretty much the center as well here. And then we want to go 1/4 down the screen. So it's this kind of area. Here the monsters will, the players will spawn. Then what else do we have? We set the scale. We can do that as well. And this time we can chain again. And we set the frame, which picks one of the different characters that we have available. Let's see so that you understand what I'm talking about. So this image contains a couple of characters, and currently they are still not formatted nicely. I was lazy, but basically we show one of these in the first row, I think. So this is 0, this is 1, so frame 0, frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, and so on. This can also be used for animation by if you have like the same character like in multiple positions, you can animate them using this. Whoop. No. Sorry. I keep clicking, hitting Control Enter, which usually would just create a new, push me to the new line. So we have this, and now we need to replace this part. So we do a new adventurer of this, and that's it already. And I do think I need to import it. Oh, it automatically imported it. Thank you. And now we want to have, I do think we want to save all of these. So this dot adventure or party dot push a new adventurer into it. And right here, private party. And we say this is adventurers and an array of adventurers. And then we say, okay, once you initiate, do this dot party equals empty. So I could have done this up here, but in Phaser it's actually nicer to do it inside of create, because the logic that actually flushes the whole scene without reloading the browser will be nicer to implement. Actually, I do want this to be here as well. This dot battle log. Yes, thank you. The unfortunate part for that is I have to put these exclamation marks, which means constructor or TypeScript. Believe me, I initiate this variable for you. Okie dokie. I think we can try it. No, we cannot. We still need to grab the correct adventurer. Let me check the chat here for a second. Okay, nothing new. So we want this dot party dot find. We do want to find an adventurer, so let's call it a dot. The adventurer does not have a name currently, so we probably want to give it a username, and the username comes from here, and we say this is a string, and it needs to be added right here by the joint event joint.member, which is the username. I don't know why we didn't call it username, but well. So we do take a new parameter here, username string, and I do want to make this into a private variable. Actually into a public read only, huh? Let me think. We do want to read it, we never want to change it. So it's public read only, yeah. So right here, we want to read it, which is username, and equals the target. So that's the adventurer that received the damage. And now we want to have its X position, possibly undefined. Why are you undefined possibly? Because it might not find the user. Believe us, TypeScript, it will. I think we can just ignore that. Linter. yeah, so in production code, I do think this is useful, but for us, I do think it's not necessary. No non-null assertion. So ESLint, no non-null assertion of. So. All right. So we do take the X position. We do take the adventurous Y position, and we need to again go slightly up. So here we did like 620 minus 40 for whatever reason. So let's try that. And then at some point it will destroy, after 1 second, it will destroy the damage count. Okie dokie. Let's try it. So I will enable this guy here again. So please remind me of unenabling it. If one of you could start an ambush, that would be amazing. Please. Because then we see the magic happen. Hopefully we didn't break anything. At least not too much. Gusto or Mrs. Grace? Exclamation mark ambush into the chat, please. Or otherwise, 3, 2, 1. Bam, sir. Oh, it's an evil fiend. Or exclamation mark join. There we are. Woo! It actually works. Oh, it's so nice to actually see all the stuff that we did, and we can start attacking, and hopefully we see damage counter numbers, hit counters, hit numbers. So we did receive damage, but nothing appeared. That's annoying. Why it no work? Okay. Well, that. Yeah, I do want to have a kind of jump animation at least. What is weird here is that we actually nobody attacked. Actually the monster should attack as well, right? Apparently we do not run the code. Can one of you attack, please? Do I take a look here at the monster killed. The monster did receive damage, but it did not show the numbers. But why not? Oh, is the text color bad? So let's remove that. So nothing was displayed. Let's maybe do this for a second here. So I just say 12 toString. Oh, it's so, oh, it's tiny. Do you see that? It's so tiny. There's the 12. So maybe we just didn't see it. Hopefully we just didn't see it. So let's make it larger. Do we have any text already? I don't know. Set size, font size. Font size sounds good. I don't know, 64. Thank you. That's an okay-ish size. The position is slightly too low though. It's basically behind this yeah, it might be behind the fiend, the monster. So let's do something -200 maybe, because I do think it's 300 cross 300 size currently. Yeah, here, set display size. So let's do that. And let's try again. So, one more try. For me, it's pretty hard. Maybe I pull this one out. Then I have chat here, and I have this guy here. And can I open you without making it too small? Cannot. This is okay-ish. Ignore the error that we currently have. Exclamation mark attack, ambush. Sorry. Amazon. And now exclamation mark join and exclamation mark attack. It was tiny. I didn't change it in the right place. Damn it. Sorry. We can set a text style here, huh? Oh, thank you, Copilot. Not useful. Font size 64. A comma missing. Font size is a string. 64 pixel. So, oh, does the flee command still work? I hope it does. Oh no, we did it and disabled it, huh? Let's go to the server because I need to stop the chatbot service. Do we still have flee? Debug flee. Okay, let's call it just flee because I cannot remember debug flee. Then end the battle. So, okay. Another try. So let me put this one on top. And reload that one. And do exclamation mark ambush. Hopefully this time exclamation mark join. Oh wait, it worked. And exclamation mark attack with attack numbers. There it is. 6. Oh, we have a subscriber. Woo! Welcome. Glad to see you. So, as I said, for me today it's slightly complicated to see what's going on because I only have one screen available. But glad to see you. Maybe I can switch to layout 1. And then we see Canabyte OffSec. Yeah! Welcome in the stream. And welcome to the TypeScript tea time. Make yourself comfortable. Grab a cup of tea. I can pour you some. Here you go. My cup is still full, so I cannot actually pull it. But yeah, welcome. So we're building kind of we did build basically DnD or turn-based battles inside of Twitch chat, and we can do !ambush to start the battle and !join to then let adventurers like Twitch chat users join the chat, the battle, sorry. Then yeah, and then it's turn-based, so the monster attacks once every 20 or 30 seconds, and everybody else can attack once in the meantime. And so we did this. We built this on the back end. We actually persist all the progress, so that people can level up and get stronger, and at some point even collect items. And I think the HP are already persisted. So if you die, you die forever, permadeath. And everything works on the back end, and we use socket.io to send everything to a front end. Phaser, which then uses socket.io on the client and receives the messages and what's happening in the battle with the help of these log messages that you see, like type, damage received, damage 2, it's so small I can't read it, target, TypeScript time, and HP left 130. Is monster false? Is one of those messages. And we use these messages to actually render all this fun stuff. There, the monster is still attacking me. Not nice. Oh, I have 19 HP left. Maybe I will die in a second. And everything is persisted. So yeah, that's it for me. Yeah, and currently we are working on the damage numbers. So when I type attack, the monster should have a number. In this case, I did 16 damage to the monster, and this should go away in like 1 second. Or it should be 1 second, I thought. Delayed call, delay number in milliseconds. 1000 is 1 second, huh? Interestingly, it doesn't go away. That's because the monster is actually dead. Okay, so I think everything just froze from that point on. Yep. And anything else? We do display this as a Twitch overlay because it's fun. And everybody can see it. And then the idea is so we like develop something regular. Currently, this is our regular development. And all of a sudden, bams, an ambush, and all the chat members together join forces to defeat the monster, and then the regular coding session can just continue. Yep, that's the big idea. That's the large plan. So this seemed to have worked to a degree. We also need to make the size for damage numbers of the adventurers larger, because that one we just missed. Yeah, so Canabyte, welcome. If you have any wins of the week, we are very happy to hear about them. And other than that, enjoy the stream and have fun chatting with the other guys. Or ask questions also. So we do have our damage numbers. We can either now animate the damage numbers, like they move to the top, or otherwise we can try yeah, like they move upwards and then disappear. Or other ways we can try animating our characters, which looks like so. I kind of already displayed that in the last. So when we do an attack, I want the characters to jump forward, like so here. The characters usually stand on this side, but when they attack, they jump to the monster. If as time goes on, they might actually do an attack animation then, but for the time being, they just jump to the front and then jump back. And we can do that with the help of Phaser. They do have... Oh, now I need to find it again. They do have passes. Here we go. And I think it's curve. Yeah, the cubic Bezier curve. Cubic Bezier curves are pretty sweet because they are very easy to implement. Or let's say very easy to use. Maybe not implement. I do remember learning about them, but I forgot everything about them. Like in theory, the theory about Bezier curves. What we provide them is a start point, which is essentially the position of our adventurer. We provide them with an end point, which is slightly in front of the monster, and we give control points which decide how curved is this thing. For example, here it already looks pretty good if you think that the player is here or the adventurer is here and the monster is kind of here. So we jump forward and then we jump backward. And what we can do now is play around with it slightly to make it slightly nicer. What's obvious here is that, so the Y position, maybe I make this slightly larger. The Y position here of start point and end point are at 500. So we probably don't want this kind of curve. We want it slightly more like maybe this. How does that sound? We can also move this one more to the top. Then they just directly move. Can make it faster probably. Ha! Choo! Ha! Choo! We don't want the yo-yo. Definitely not. We do want the yo-yo, but we don't want repeat. Ha! Choo! And that's it. T is... What is T? What if we do 0.5? Maybe it's just jumping to the half. Yeah, okay. We can... That's cool. Because then we can just do... We can set the endpoint to the actual monster and we just say T is slightly less. So it just jumps up. Then... Yeah, I think that's fine. It should be fine, right? So, with that said, how much of this do we need? We do need... Path. Path is a tween target. We give it a velocity vector, which we then interpolate. Well, let's try to figure it out. Where do we use it? Graphics? Just down here. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's try this. So it should happen in an attack event, right? So we const adventurer attacked, which is an damage or attacked event. Yeah. and we try to find something. We try to find an event of type attack, and again, E should not be a monster because it's an adventurer who attacks here. Save. And TypeScript in this case can we just do this? No, wait. That's fine. Tagged. Or can I that's not possible, right? Or undefined. So event or undefined is not assignable. Okay. Because it's not clever enough to see that this actually lowers down the type. So we have to do this manually now. That's fine. So send a value but never used. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I think we can clean up this slightly. I do think we need the or undefined, because we do want to use if something is. So we do want or undefined. So maybe we define a maybe type. Maybe of t is equal to t or not null. Thank you. Copilot, thank you, but it's in this case undefined. So this is a maybe attacked, and this is a maybe damage received. This is a maybe damage received again. This is also maybe joined. This is maybe ambushed. We don't need to use these type annotations, and that's it. So from here, now that we have cleaned that up, we can use the adventurer tag to render the adventurer jumping forward. So if adventurer tag, then what? Where's my second bracket? Ah, oh, my shortcuts. Copilot, give me my shortcuts back. So from here on, we want to have this Bezier curve. Bams. Don't need the graphics. We can probably use const here. Cannot use all of that, and we do const this guy. And where do we actually use the curve? Because they draw it. Okay, that's fine. We don't need to do that. We do want to have why does it tween over this guy? So not sure about that yet. I do want to have the monster by now. So for just this once, we do this one last time, and after we're done with this, we refactor it into a monster class. I'm getting frustrated with writing hard coding the position again and again. Extract or to do extract monster class. So the monster is the last point. The start point is actually the adventurer, So we can do something similar to what we did here. Where are we? We want to find the adventurer, and we say adventurer attacked dot attacker, and we are pretty sure that the adventurer actually exists. So our start position is the adventurer as X and the adventurer as Y, and from there on we kind of move. Const X is, let's move that one and also extract that one to a constant Y. Thank you. And then X, so X, maybe he jumps up first. So control point 1 here. Yeah, maybe let's move this to 100 and 400, which is slightly up here somewhere. Run the code, which then looks like this. So kind of getting prepared and then running. I hope that's visible even on the screen, because I know there's a delay. So maybe minus 100. And then we go to the second point is the monster. So which is 1000 maybe. The monster and slightly at top, which is Y minus 100. Oh no, now we need to interpolate, right? We need to interpolate the monster's Y position and the adventurer's Y position, which we can do. We need to do maybe 0.8 times 620 plus 0.2 times adventurer's Y. So this is a linear combination, or even a convex combination, essentially saying if this is 0 and this is 1, then take this point here. Because these two numbers here add up to 1. That's what it makes a convex combination. And I suppose that's it for now. Now we need to, what do we actually want to? I'm not sure why we have this targets path T. Can we just give the adventurer here? I think we can. Ah, wait. Yeah. I think we can. Let's see whether that works. So, where is localhost 8080? There we go. And they are non-negative. Indeed. None, so they lie between 0 and 1. So the convex combination, that's what you're referring to, right? The numbers need to lie between, or the factors, the coefficients need to lie between 0 and 1 and must add up to 1. You can also do this with more than, than something. I think Mace's Grace, you probably know better what happens in that case. Like if you have more than 2, or take a regular sum. Jason Zola, hey, welcome to the stream. Welcome. So we are right at the point where we want to try this again. So I do enable the overlay, and Mace, if you could type !ambush into the chat, that would be amazing. So for everybody else, as soon as we have a monster on the screen, there it is, you can type !join into the chat, and then you join our little party, our monster hunting party here. Is that still visible? !join written like this. And as of then, as soon as you've joined, you can start attacking. And you can write something like just !attack, but be aware if you type this too often, Twitch will ban you. So what you can do is pack into an actual phrase, like I attack the left leg, for example. And then Twitch won't bother anymore. And I will do the same. And we're already attacking, and I'm not. So we see some numbers, some damage numbers. Did we actually see any jumping? I don't think we did, huh? We do see a new number. Did anybody type !attack? No jumping. That's odd. So no jumping. Numbers won't change either. The numbers should go away after some time. The monster is dead, by the way. Or is it? Oh, it's confusing. I have too many windows open. Not having two screens currently is really, really hard. One of the numbers did go away, but I don't know why. I also don't know actually how powerful the OBS browser is. I mean, I can do some basic interactions, but I don't know how many. No jumping. So we need to find a way to make the jumping more testable. Let me close that one. We don't need it. I do need this guy. And then, whoops, smaller. This, I think, is what we usually have. Let's see. We want all of this code, but we want to apply it to something. Maybe we can simulate some stuff here. So we add a new adventurer to this, and we say, thank you, player one. It's a perfectly fine name. And then we do all of this fun stuff. So let's give it a name, adventurer. Adventurer equals this guy. So we have all of this. It jumps to here, and then that's fine. So maybe let's do repeat for now, infinitely often. And now it should do something. So there's our adventurer that we statically add, but he or she does not jump. The error has nothing to do with it. That's because that's just something in the loading scene. I can actually no, better. One less annoying thing. So why does this guy not work? How do we, let's put that right here. That's slightly too small. Thank you. What are we missing? So here we do draw the graphics again and again. do we? T 0.8. Okay, maybe let's look at tweens. There we go. So tweens are basic animations that essentially, or inside of Phaser. Oh, welcome, welcome. Glad to see you. How do I control the character? What plugin do you use to have those colors on the left side of your code? Let's see. How do I control the character? You write !attack, like the other guys, like Kusto and Maces Grace did. So the three commands that we have is !join, !attack, and for a few people, !ambush, which starts all of this. And as time goes on, we actually want to do more, like I don't know, fireball, and then you fire a fireball, or heal, and then add, for example, H. Kostovich, and then it heals Kusto. But for now, these are essentially the controls as soon as somebody starts an ambush. So that's one question. And what plugin do you use to have those colors on the left side of your code? That's, I give you exclusive access. Not to the let's see. Not the object is called bracketeer, but I do give you access to this article that I have not written because I don't finish, for whatever reason, the fifth one. It's called bracketeer, and it's working also. Sorry, no, it's not bracketeer. This one I actually have not inside of the list because it's actually fairly well used. I think it's called, there are two of them. One is rainbow indent, or indent rainbow. I love that one. So this guy, and this one works very well together with colored brackets as well. So for example, here you see, or here, the blue colors close here, brackets or parentheses close here, and the yellow ones belong together here. And that's something called bracket pair colorizer. So two. I do give you guys access to this article anyway. Not yet published, but a few nice VS Code extensions that I love, particularly Anki for VS Code. If you ever used Anki flashcard app, this is another game changer inside of using Anki. The folder sometimes useful, partial diff always useful when you work with Git. Bracketeer, which makes it possible to switch brackets, and in particular also quotes, and I actually use it more for quotes, and copy relative path numbers. If you communicate, then you can do this with a very simple shortcut. So back to TWAS and jumping around. Whoops, that was one window too much. Back to tweens. You're welcome. Back to our tweens. So tweens are basic animations that essentially just do linear interpolation between 2 points. And these points, however, can not only be x and y coordinates, but it can also be just a time parameter, or like a, let's say, Font size, for example, you can scale down from 64 font size, which is rather large, which we currently use, and tween it down, and it shrinks down with the help of tweens. What we want, is it this? Playing forward. So here it tweens the alpha. Let me see. So no, that's probably a better example. Knowing Phaser, there's probably a destroyer tween, ease parameter, elasticity, just basic movement. Loop. Let's look at this one. So it moves to the right, and then it loops. Okay. And it tweens our X position. Is that why we needed the path? Because we want to move along the Bezier curve. We don't want linear interpolation of the X and Y coordinates, that would just result in a linear line. We do want to interpolate along this. We do want to move our character along the curve, but the tween should actually move the T parameter, right? I think that's how we need to do it. So essentially what they do here with the little ball, path.t, path.vec. How do they draw the curve? They do draw the curve like so. Curve.getPoint. Okay. So let's add this path again. And we do want to interpolate this path object, which is how they do it also. And now we want to do curve.getPoint of path.t and path.vec. Thank you. Yep, like so. And now we have a point inside space, which is which should be set to the new, or the adventurer should be moved to that position. Const new position is this. Wrong shortcut. And now we need to have our adventurer being set to this position again and again and again and again. How do we do that? I mean, if we only do it once, it only sets it once and then never again. So we do need some more stuff here. Let me just for simplicity move this. Man, that shortcut. Let me move this inside of here. Why? Oh, I forgot half of it. So this is this dot. And then we add the tween. We do this dot scene dot tween, and we can just say scene dot. Now we want to have access to the path. So let's say private path, which is some object of type T and vec. Do we have like to interface? No, I don't. Oops. There's the vector2. And it's a type now. So we have this guy, and it definitely gets assigned inside of, we don't need the exclamation mark. As soon as we do this dot, and we also want the curve, which has return type curves.Bezier, cubic Bezier. Private curve. Yep, imported, and it is not getting set. So we do this dot. So here we need to interpolate along this one, and this one we do not do here, but instead we write a function public update. And for whatever reason, it does not set the second bracket anymore. And now we can get the new position, of this and that. So now we have the new position inside of the update method. So the update method gets called every frame, which is like 60 or 30, I think 60 times per second. And 6 times per second, we just set the position of, yeah, thank you. And thank you. Oh, I love Copilot. Did you see that? This is weird. Essentially, somebody having write the code. It's amazing, but it's also weird. So now all we need to do is, because this update method does not get called automatically, only scene methods get called automatically. We do have to do something like this, just for the sake of it. Private adventurer, and then we do this dot adventurer right here, and inside of the update method here, which gets, so we are now inside of a scene, inside of the title scene in this case, which is actually just our main scene because we were too lazy to rename it. This one gets automatically called. Every 1/60 of a second. Thank you. Oh man, this is so weird that the code already tells me what I want to do, and then I say this dot adventurer dot. Thank you. Man, I love Copilot. I hope they make it free enough. I hope they make it free enough. It works! Whoop, 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 whoop. You see it? So it's kind of a weird jumping pattern, to be honest. But it does work. So let's take it for now. Now we have to think here for a second. So for the time being, it kind of works. Let's stage it for a second. And I see that I am over time. So we can maybe stop here. And with this, I think it's fairly easy to refactor our code so that the next to do kind of becomes to do next stream, refactor, or actually to do next stream, use this to animate or jump on attack. And we say we already have it here, but it's still more complicated. So use code inside of adventurer to animate, and that's what we will do next time. For now, we do say episode 18, work in progress, animate adventurer. I do think we can just, oh no, we cannot. Can we? I think we can just remove this guy here and remove this guy as well as this guy. And now we have a working version again. To jump on attack. Bams. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much. We've got 2 new follows. Whip, whip, whoop. As well as made some progress on both the damage numbers, which are still kind of weird and clunky, but they are displayed after all. So that's good. As well as on the attack animation. Next time we will continue with the attack animation, and again next time will be kind of this weird setup because I'm still traveling on the road again. But as of like 2 weeks, yeah, in 2 weeks we will definitely be back to the regular stream format. In particular, I don't have to show this screen because I have my second screen and a nicer microphone. The good part about this room is it's actually not as much echo as my regular streaming place. So thank you so much. We can try to rate someone because we have actually 2 viewers. And my favorite place to go is this live coders. So we go to Instafluff. Instafluff is pretty cool. Instafluff. He's a cool dude. So say hello to him. The quick action did not work for whatever reason, but I think it did work. Is there any other way for me to start a raid? There's not. Yep. So if that didn't work, Instafluff, I can try it again once more. Yeah. See ya. Have a great week, everybody, and looking forward to see you next time, as well as hearing your wins of the week. I appreciate you spending time with me. Sorry for making it slightly shorter than last time and kind of stopping in the middle, but we will fix that. Yeah. Happy tea, everybody. So can do this once more, and then I just end the stream because for whatever reason the quick action Twitch has apparently some issues. Bye, everybody.